So you're thinking about moving to Indian Land, South Carolina. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you a guided map tour of the area. We're going to talk about its location, commute times, its economy, and of course, we're going to go ahead and touch on real estate. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to talk about a subdivision that's very, very unique that you probably haven't heard of. So if that's you, stick around. We're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe and bell notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market conditions right here in Charlotte. My name is Dean and I get calls, text messages, emails every single day from people just like you that are looking to move to the area, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're thinking about making a move here in 9 days or 90 days, go ahead, reach out to me. I would love to help you and your family make a smooth move right here to the Charlotte area, one of its surrounding suburbs. So today we're just going to talk just about Indian Land. So if you go ahead and stick around right now, I'm just going to jump in my computer.
All right, so if you've seen any of my map tours in the past for any of the suburbs we've been covering, I always like to start with the overview of where the suburb is in relation to Charlotte. So let me go ahead and move my head over here. Let's grab a highlighter. Yep, we'll do red. So here is Charlotte, uptown Charlotte. Now, if you go directly south, you will run right into Indian Land, and it's the red dotted line that you're seeing right now. So as far as commute times go to uptown Charlotte, it's going to take you about 35 minutes. That's a drive time without traffic. So depending on what time of day. The easiest way to go this is Highway 521. This runs right through Indian Land, right through Ballantyne. 485 right here. You're going to take 485 until you hit 77, and 77 will take you right uptown. If you're looking to go to the airport, Charlotte Douglas International is right here on the west side of town. You'll do the exact same thing. Now you've got two options once you get to a certain point. So on 77, you can take Billy Graham right to the airport, or you can take 485 and just continue it. It goes all the way around the city, but you can take it to the airport. So you have a couple of options there. It will take you about the same time, 35 minutes, depending on what side of or how far down in Indian Land you will actually be coming through. But as far as options, there is several different routes you can take. There are just a couple of them, of course, but that's kind of give you an idea. Now, the nice thing about Indian Land is its proximity to Ballantyne. Ballantyne is a planned community that's both residential and commercial. There's actually over 35 Fortune 500 companies here in Ballantyne. So there's a lot of options to work either in Indian Land, which I'll cover here in a little bit, but also in Ballantyne. Now, let me grab a different color because I want to show you. All right, so blue, this will work. So this line that you're seeing right now is the state line. As you can see, it is not straight. It does have angles to it. Why am I bringing this up? Because it will give you an idea, let's get red again, on how far south it is to some of the other popular suburbs on the south side of town. So right here on the North Carolina side, you've got Marvin, Weddington, Waxhaw is right there as well, which is not populating in right now. And on the South Carolina side, you've got Fort Mill, and you've actually got TGK there as well. So you can almost draw a straight line from TGK through Weddington, and you'll run right into Indian Land. It's not that far south compared to other suburbs, and that's due to its proximity on that state line and the way it's situated. Now, one of the most popular suburbs in the Charlotte metro area in South Carolina is Rock Hill. So you are further north than Rock Hill on there as well. So its location is prime. Now, over the past few years, the way that the development has gone in Indian Land, a lot of the new construction has spilled over from Ballantyne and spilled over from the Fort Mill side and really hit Indian Land. And that's what's one of the driving forces behind it. So you're going to see a lot of new construction, not just on homes, but on businesses as well. There's a lot of businesses that have recently moved to the area, and there's a lot of new subdivisions that are being built basically because there's no more land in Ballantyne to build, or very little. And the same thing with Fort Mill. Fort Mill has a little bit more land than, let's say, Ballantyne, but they are running out pretty quickly. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit now, and we'll go ahead and jump into Indian Land. So here we go. Let's zoom in one more. A lot of the suburbs, and there's a lot more homes outside of this red area. This is just, I guess, the town of Rock Hill that it specifically outlines. But as far as the amenities that Indian Land has, it has pretty much everything. So we've got grocery stores. So you're talking Publix, and there's a ton of Harris Teeters around there as well. There is a lot of retail, so a lot of shopping, a lot of restaurants. I kind of touched on it earlier, but a lot of the businesses in Indian Land are newer. It's really developed over the past few years, so you're gonna not see more of a traditional downtown area that some other suburbs have, but it's more like in the theme of like strip malls. So you'll see a lot of stores that are probably nationwide. So we have it's a Home Depot. No, actually it's a Lowe's. There's a Lowe's there. There's a movie theater, there's gyms there as well. So they have YMCA. So they have everything that you can kind of recognize no matter what city really you're moving from. And they have all the big chain stores as well. So the Walmarts, the Kohl's, the TJ Maxx, things of that nature. Some of the big anchor stores you'll see in the strip malls, they'll have all those here. But let me go ahead and grab my marker here again. So this is Highway 521, the main road that runs right the way through up until Ballantyne. This road right here is 160. 160 is that road that's going to connect you to the other side of town, which is where Fort Mill is. So these are the two main roads that you'll see. Most of the retail is going to be on the east side of 521. So this area right here, a lot of strip malls here, a lot of restaurants, a lot of shopping, a lot of grocery stores. Most of them here are going to be new. When I say new, I'm speaking relatively new within the past 3 to 5 years. But the amenities that Indian Land offers is so good that you probably don't even need to leave Indian Land to get most of the things that you need locally. So of course, if you want to find different chains of grocery stores, like there's a Trader Joe's on the south side of town, but not in Indian Land. So if you have preferences, yes, you probably might need to go across into North Carolina. But if you're just looking for the general amenities, there's a wealth of options in Indian Land there as well. So I think I touched on the movie theater there as well. I think YMCA. Oh, one thing that I'll mention here as well. If you're looking for a church home, Transformation Church is a very popular church that is in the area. It's pastored by Derwin Gray. He used to be an NFL linebacker for the Colts and the Panthers for a year as well. So that's a popular one. So if you're looking for a new church home, there's quite a few options around there as well. That's just one of them that's appearing right now that I can see. So I wanted to unpack a little bit now on the local economy here in Indian Land. There is a lot of opportunities locally. Yes, it's very easy if you wanted to drive to Charlotte or in the Ballantyne area, but for the context of this video, I really want to talk about some of the bigger employees in Indian Land. And so the biggest employee is actually a media company called Red Venture. Let me grab my pen here so I can highlight it for you. So Red Venture, right off Highway 521, it's a local media company, hires a ton of people there. They're always hiring, a lot of opportunities in this company. Sharon View, right here. So Sharon View is a local credit union. So this branches all around, but they're actually headquartered. So their corporate offices here in Indian Land as well. Another biggie is Continental Tires. Huge company. I'm sure you've heard of this tire brand there before. Again, they have an office station right here in Indian Land. And let's see, there was one other one, Movement Mortgage. That's located right here off, it's not shown on the map right now, but it's right here off Highway 160. Movement Mortgage is a fairly new company, but of course they do mortgages, home loans, got a big corporate center there as well. So a lot of employment in there. Now these are just some of the larger companies. Again, I don't want to go through every single mid-size, small-size companies because this video would be literally 3 hours long, but just to give you an idea that there's some very large players in the area that have invested in the South Carolina state line, the South Carolina side of the Charlotte area, which has lower taxes. So a lot of businesses are continually coming down across the state line there as well. So also Honeywell, I don't think I mentioned that one. It's not their corporate center, but they have a large office here as well. And if you go a little further on 160, Daimler, Chrysler, it's more on the Fort Mill side, but there's quite a few other businesses locally. So I guess the point of what I'm saying is, yes, you can go to Charlotte. Yes, there's a lot of opportunities all around Charlotte, as I'm sure you're familiar with, and in Ballantyne, of course, as well. But you don't actually have to leave Indian Land. There is opportunities to live locally, which is a key driving force. People don't want to commute anymore. People want to live close to their activities, their kids' schools, their businesses, to create more of that community feel. And Indian Land gives that opportunity. All right, so let's look at some local real estate and see some subdivisions that are in Indian Land. There is a ton of subdivisions. Maybe I should start by saying that. There's a lot of properties outside of subdivisions, but for the most part, when you're talking about Indian Land, it's going to be the majority is going to be subdivisions. Lancaster County is big and it can get rural. So if you're looking for some more, a property that has acreage, definitely an option. But when you're talking about the town of Indian Land, you're going to see more subdivisions just than individual homes. So one of the most popular subdivisions in a price point of around the mid to high threes, that's really where they start, is Arlington. Now it's an older community. They've been built from 2006, 2007, 2008, depending on the phase of the build. The properties themselves, you're going to see more spec homes from the builder, so vinyl siding. It's not going to have a ton of custom updates. The property's square footage, they're going to be right around 2,000 square feet. Now, of course, if you pay more and there's more options and floor plans available, yes, they do get a little bit more expensive, but that'll kind of give you an idea in the 300s, the mid to high 300s. Arlington is a pretty good subdivision for that price point. Now, if I scroll down here just a little bit, this is probably the most popular subdivision and one of my personal favorites. It's actually called Bridge Mill, and yes, there is a bridge in there. I'm going to scroll in. It's a huge master plan community. The properties, here you go, you can see it all around here in the gray. The property subdivisions, it was built by a local builder. They do have more of a southern charm kind of build to it. I've actually done a vlog tour of this community, so I would highly recommend you go and see that. There's a ton of amenities in there. Tennis courts, pools, a lot of pocket parks, trails. Houses in there are going to be pretty big. So they really start around 2,500 square feet, but they get pretty big in there. Now, the entry point in the subdivision is really around the 500s, but you can pay over $1 million in this subdivision. So it's a really, really popular subdivision. Probably the best amenities in the entire Indian Land area. And it's right here just off 521. So it's very, very accessible to everywhere in Indian Land. So that's probably one of my favorites here. So we've got Arlington. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit larger, as far as it's in a subdivision, but it's in an older subdivision, so you're gonna get more land in there. So like half an acre, about a half an acre, I would say. The homes are more stately. Meaning they're not going to be that southern charm home. It's going to be more brick homes, a bit more custom finished, but the price points are a little bit higher. So I would recommend Bridgehampton. This one is literally right on the border. In fact, some of the subdivision actually trickles over into North Carolina, but Bridgehampton is a subdivision that I would look at. Now, they start around the 700s and they do go over $1 million. So if you're looking for something in that price point, again, it's going to be more of a traditional build. Not going to be really looking like the traditional southern homes with the big wraparound porches. You're going to get more of a brick home, traditional finish. Now, interesting fact just about this subdivision, they're just updating. They do have a pool and tennis courts in there. The pool is actually being updated right now. They're actually building a splash pool as well. So there's going to be 2 pools in the clubhouse. It's going on right now. So it should be finished by the back end of summer. So that's one that I would highly recommend as well. Love that subdivision. And in fact, didn't think about this when I was mentioning it, but if you go back, and I'll actually drop a link into the description, but if you look at the vlog tour that I did of Indian Land, you're gonna have both Bridge Mill and Bridgehampton properties in there as well. So you'll see both of those. Now I'm gonna tell you something that's slightly different, or show you something that's slightly different. There's an area, or a subdivision should I say, called Black Horse Run. This is, again, an older subdivision. These properties, you can find properties that are over an acre, so you do have more acreage in there. But the unique fact in Black Horse Run, and you probably guessed it by the namesake, it does have a barn. It does have a community barn in there. So if you have horses, or if you just like to be in a community that has that offered as an amenity, it's the only one in Indian Land. People know about Black Horse Run, and the people that typically live there do have horses, or if they like to ride horses, or just like that lifestyle. The houses are on the older side. They're 20 plus years old, but the nice thing about homes in that age bracket is most of them have been updated. So they do go pretty quickly because it's a unique area. It's not a huge subdivision like the other ones that we've talked about. So when properties do hit, they do go pretty quick because it's very niche, it's very specific that you're looking for. But properties really start around the high 400s in Black Horse Run. Again, so bigger land, older homes. Yes, some of them have been updated, of course. And that's kind of a start point to get something. They go as high as about the 700s. So they're not terribly expensive, but that's kind of what the amenities that they offer on that one. So right at the beginning of the video, I told you I want to tell you a little bit about one thing that's very unique here in Indian Land, and this is Andrew Jackson State Park. So here again is Indian Land. Let me move my head out the way here. 521 is the main highway. Let me grab my pen. Coming down 521. I'm actually just going to stop here on 521 for a second. Sun City at Carolina Lakes is a 55 plus community. I purposely didn't talk about this one because I did an entire video just on that community, and we talk all about the home prices from the 400s all the way to, I think it was 965,000. One of the properties was built around a golf course. It's got pickleball, it's got tennis courts, it's got bowling, it's got literally miles and miles and miles of trails. It's got 10 ponds, catch and release. There is 2 community clubhouses, ton of activities, always something going on there. There's 3 pools, one of those pools is indoors. But anyway, I purposely didn't mention that. So if you're thinking, how can I talk about Indian Land and not talk about Sun City? That's the reason why. So just keep going south on 521. It's further south, as you can see, but Andrew Jackson State Park is an absolute fantastic, I would say it's a day trip. So it takes about 25 minutes to get there, 20 minutes to get there from Indian Land. Just go further south, straight into heading towards Lancaster. But what's good about this is thousands of acres. There is a ton of hiking, and the hiking is not terribly technical. So most ages can do the hiking. There really isn't a whole lot of up and down elevation to climb. It's more single track. A lot of wildlife that you can see there. There is kayaking that has a huge lake, so you can go ahead and kayak. You can, of course, fish on there, and it's just a great day out there as well. So it's what I really like about it is, you're literally 20 minutes away from like Indian Land and civilization, but you can get in Andrew Jackson State Park and just feel like you're miles away from anything. So that's a really good activity that is on your doorstep if you live in Indian Land.
So thanks guys for watching this video. My heart behind these, as always, is to help you and your family decide on a location around the Charlotte area that you can call home. So if you're thinking about making that move, or you might know someone that's moving here, go ahead, reach out to me, give me a call, send me a text, email, or of course we can meet face to face on Zoom. And until the next video, I'll see you around town, and God bless.